Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And goodbye.
The end.
But we're the Fresh Cut.
The freshest. The freshest.
That was not a good pronunciation of fresh.
I haven't been around people all day.
Oh.
I've just been in the Mac. Everyone come to the film fest next Friday. I think it's 6 to 8, but I'm not certain.
But also, if you're listening to this not live,
it's
I hope you
Friday.
There.
Friday, May 3rd, 6 to 8 at the Gregory Center. I'm at Milligan College. In it, and other friends have good films in it, and I might be an actor in one. I didn't know that one of the films that I was in for a class is getting entered, so
well, cool.
I have double the chances of, maybe not double, but I have now 2 chances of winning. One as a director and one as an actor.
And the film will be on YouTube afterwards?
Yes.
For those that want to see it?
My channel name is Please and Thanks Productions, but it's spelled PLSNDTHX. Because I came up with it in high school and I still think it's clever.
Brevity is a virtue.
The 11th commandment.
Well, I'm not one to presume commandments.
Just kidding. The 11th commandment is like,
thou shalt not support the Patriots.
Yesterday or 2 days ago on the grill, some like anti-patriot thing was on the TV, and I literally like zoned out of the conversation and just had to watch. And I apologized you were watching about the Patriots, and they like knew. And I thought that was funny, you know.
Yeah,
like,
well, we're consistent if nothing else. What do you mean? Oh, I haven't. Where are the headphones?
I think someone put them down.
Oh.
Brock Shock at Morning at In the Night was earlier today.
Rad Shack, Meshach, and Abednego.
That's my favorite Bible story.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
My first sermon was about that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They said, what do you want our sermon about? Write about your favorite Bible story. And I was like, it's Dago King. I, at one point in my life, knew how to spell Nebuchadnezzar.
Well, one day that may come in handy at a trivia night, but not.
I forget
ever.
now.
Yeah.
It'd have to be at like Bible Bowl, which I will never participate in. I hope.
Wow, talking a lot about the Bible, but we love it.
Milligan College Radio.
We love that Daniel 3.
We started at 9 o'clock. Oh, the thing played beforehand. Never mind. We're
don't
fine.
Worry, we're good. You're always so paranoid.
Well, it's my job to make sure. I have to tell I do the training. I have to make sure we're following them.
Oh, I appreciate it.
I'm just.
And the commandments.
The 12th commandment is follow the FCC regulations.
I feel like they slipped that one in. We're stalling while we wait for our guest, the one and only Daniel McPeacock, and not having a Mick.
Mick is actually a derogatory term for Irish people.
I mean, I meant like the
I know
his name.
I'm just letting you know.
Oh.
But it's not super common anymore.
We're gonna have to work past that. How can I become a better person, Aaron?
I don't know. You're pretty good. You just gotta tell me. I almost wore my green hat today because I was like, maybe Noah will wear it. But I was afraid it wouldn't go with pink. But I was like, I almost risked it. So I would just say, start telling me when we are gonna wear your green hat. That's the only critique I have for you.
Maybe next week.
Okay.
I forget because I always work before this, so.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I have a lemonade stand for those ones.
Noah really liked cool math. That's why he became a math major, and his favorite game was the lemonade stand game.
Yeah, what can I say?
Corinne's so proud.
Oh, she filed for divorce. Just kidding. That's not funny. But she doesn't listen, so.
I actually just stopped breathing.
It was a joke. I don't have a lemonade stand, and even if that was my only source of revenue, I'd talk me out of it.
She would make Gabby the prison dog. How is Gabby?
Well, we just moved into a new house, so Gabby the prison dog, aka my dog, who we got from like a prison program where they got to like train dogs in prison. I don't know, that was good, but you can never say prison enough because the effects are real and they are lasting.
We were just reading about a guy who got executed for one of the most notorious hate crimes of the late 20th century. Bill King killed
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby is in a prison 5 minutes from my home.
All the time somehow.
Because, not many people can say that, except all of the people that live within 5 minutes of that prison.
Not many people want to say that. But, anyways, Gabby the prison dog is having some bladder issues in our new home. So
Oh, no.
I'm miserable.
I just hit the mic with my hat.
But we do now have some funny videos of her wearing a diaper.
I need to see those, please. I think
Corinne has them, unfortunately.
she doesn't listen.
She got them in the divorce.
I hate this.
I don't like it either.
Well, then-
Resent her for not listening to this show.
Well, I know there's like premarital counseling, but maybe y'all just need to go to like regular marital counseling.
No.
Just say, I resent you for not listening to my show. The counselor would say, Corinne, you can at least listen to the YouTube episodes, and then $50 and all your marriage problems are solved.
Ooh.
Or you could just pretend that I'm a counselor.
If we're paying them $50, it's not going to solve one of our biggest marital problems, which is finances. It's not really a marital problem. It's
like
more of a life problem.
Adult problem.
Yeah, adult problem.
Ford car insurance and also a car.
Yeah.
But I'm getting one. Anyone who's listening probably knows how much I have wanted a car and how much I've needed a car the past 3 years. But I'm getting one, and it's stick shift.
Ooh.
So I get to learn how to drive manual.
I've never driven manual.
I did it once, but it was technically illegal, so good thing I was
well,
saying
good.
It was when we tested the car at the dealership. They only scanned Mr. Jones's license, not mine. But I did it in a parking lot with no other cars, so.
Don't know who Mr. Jones is.
Madison Jones's dad.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Former guest,
Former
my
guest,
BFF.
Madison Jones.
Madison comes home this weekend.
How exciting.
She'll definitely, maybe she can be on Monday.
Yeah.
She'll be so excited.
Yes.
She's going to teach me how to drive my own car.
Wow.
I had to put a deposit down and call the car, a car insurance place today. I like
have
calling.
social anxiety.
See, but I feel like calling erases that for me, because and then like they don't see that I'm pacing back and forth because I'm so nervous. And it's like the element of like mystery, like they don't know who I am. They're not judging me. It's like they only get to know what I want. So it actually gives me I prefer talking on the phone. Like I asked them to knock off more money on the car, and I could not have done that in person. 0% chance. But I did it over the phone, and then they did.
That's what we call #confidence.
I'm only confident when I'm on the phone. Album title?
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Cool. We hear a sentence.
It's our boy.
Ooh boy.
AKA Ooh boy. Our boy Ooh boy.
A terrapin of tardiness today, and I apologize, everyone.
You made up with that alliteration, so you're fine. Ike, good to didn't even squeak.
Ugh, I hate it when they work functionally.
Yeah, I know, right?
So Aaron Donovan's getting a new car,
A new used car.
but
Really? New
Daniel Peacock here is moving into a new car or
a
home.
gently used RV. Lucky enough, it has 2 of the 4 surfaces on it, so it at least has wheels. But
Ooh.
couldn't afford the roof. That was an add-on that we couldn't really do. So I'll just have to park under trees at night or when it rains.
That's fine. Amy Long said, and the last time when she was on our show, she's going to get a house with no floor, just grass. So you all could, like, combine those into one functional living space.
We really could.
With wheels.
It would be living space Tetris. Well, speaking of beautiful, thank you, beautiful people, for having me on the show tonight, even though I am the worst and am probably going to go down in the Fresh Cut history as the latest guest.
I'm pretty sure Amy Long showed up later than you.
Okay, well,
Aaron
that makes
Donovan
me feel
has showed up later than this.
I would have at least one claim to fame, so thanks for dashing that.
You're Ooh Boy.
I am Ooh Boy, you're right.
Patrick Lyons casually brought that up in a conversation a couple weeks ago. So your claim to fame has already been made. You are already famous.
Well,
It's legitimately hilarious. Have you listened to that, Gloria? We have a.
In case you're wondering, for the past 10 minutes, Gloria's been here silent. she just waved.
Good to have an audience.
honestly, you could have pretended to be me for the last 7 minutes, and I wouldn't be in as much trouble.
I don't
You're not
think-
in trouble.
I don't think we have like the same goals.
Yeah, that's true, but
Also, I just want to defend myself because Noah called me out and said I've been later, which was true, but it's because
she had reasons.
a musical rehearsal ran late. I didn't just hate
that's
my
true.
own show.
I wasn't calling you out. I didn't mean that in a negative way.
Okay, I just felt the need. I'm a little defensive. I'm not. There's 4 children to
Oh, yeah.
gotcha.
climb to the top of favorite child, you know?
Yeah.
Understandable. It's a Wild West standoff of blaming people.
Ooh.
Amen.
That's going to come into play later.
Oh.
When we venture into the Wild West tonight for our game.
I'm ready. I've got 6 shooters locked and loaded full of terrible, terrible jokes and puns. And I'm going to empty those cylinders.
The whole reason you're here.
Daniel will be gone by then, hopefully.
Probably.
But yeah, let's move on. Anyone got any conspiracies? I know Aaron had a pretty good conspiracy. Did Daniel also?
I have a conspiracy. Well, it's a theory that I consider a conspiracy, kind of, because it seems
Bitcoins?
Yes. It seems conspiratorial, if that's a word, in its scope, in that it's a theory that tries to explain, like, 100 years of history and blame it on one thing, which seems like something a lot of conspiracy theories do. But we can get to that later.
No, take it away.
What is your... Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, you're the guest.
Mine's not nearly as cool, but basically...
someone... You don't even know mine is.
Well, let me tell you. That's how uncool it is.
Oh, I hope it's the same thing and we have conflict.
The bar is set so low, there's not even a danger of tripping on it. But, anyways.
Gloria and I just shared a look.
So basically there's a theory, and this is like some people have floated out, that the reason for what seems to be high levels of crime and criminal activity during the 20th century, and the reason why it declined so sharply in the last 20-ish years, is all about lead. That for the longest time, almost everything that we used and manufactured had lead in it. And obviously we were breathing that and exposing ourselves and our children to that. And that was causing changes in the chemistry of our young minds as we were growing up. A larger percentage of people being criminals? Question mark?
That's actually why Disney has announced that they are renaming their next film to Aladdin.
Oh, no.
It'll do great.
I can to R-rated to really capture that whole criminal, seedy underworld that the animated film really missed out on.
Oh, bye, Gloria.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Gloria.
Have fun.
No audience now. At least no
Joel's
in
listening
studio.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Joel.
He's working. We were working in the. Hope you're listening on your computer, because if you're not, you lied to me. Continue.
And lying is something someone exposed to lead would do.
No one else, though.
Yeah, everyone else is pretty truthful. But anyways, that's basically the theory, and the reason why there has been such a dramatic decrease in crime over the last 20-ish years, I guess since the 90s, is because of the worldwide effort to get rid of lead in pretty much everything. Once we discovered that it, had negative effects on the human body and the human brain.
Also on Superman, he can't see through lead.
Yeah, exactly. That would be such a weird weakness to exploit. Like, imagine someone in basically a giant dress made of lead, because that's really the only... You couldn't, fit lead to your body. Squaring up with Superman. Basically like a giant...
See, I'm just imagining...
And their only tactical advantage is you can't see what I'm doing behind this bowling pin of lead.
That's beautiful. Do you think as a kid, he's like, hey, I could see through things, and they're like, oh yeah? What's in here? But it's like their pencil box, and they had lead pencils, and he's like,
You're not going to fool me. There's nothing in that pencil box. That's how he managed to stay undetected. It really wasn't his own doing.
Yeah. He wasn't... I guess he could still run fast, but...
That's true. Maybe everyone was just like, oh, wow, he's that one really athletic kid. Here's a question. Did Superman do the Naruto run when he was in PE class as a young boy?
How do you think he gets so fast?
Exactly.
A follow-up question. A statement. I want to do a 499 on if the Naruto run actually makes you faster.
What a research project
well,
that would be.
let me
Erin
tell
actually
you.
said that she would be one of my candidates, but I didn't want to take the class before 499, so I never did it.
Honestly, I think there is a space for a genuine... But I always got blasted by the kid who was doing the Naruto run. I was looking at his dust from miles away.
Some physical trainer student said that Olympic runners start in a stance like that, and then they move forward, but what if they stay like that the whole time?
When's the origin of the Naruto run? Maybe the animators who animated the show or drew the the manga, saw like a still image of a runner starting their run, and they assumed they just stayed in that pose
Like,
the entire sprint.
We're going to capitalize on
They were
this.
like, oh man, that must be what the pros do. All right.
Saw the animation come back, and they were like, notice anything weird with this? But they didn't want to like call him out. So,
And so
they
they
kept
just
it. And
kids the world over emulate it. All right, so Aaron, what's your much more interesting?
wait, do we believe yours?
You
do we
have to
believe
ask
mine?
us.
Oh, do you believe that lead is the root of all evil in the earth? And now it's gone. So evil's gone, obviously.
Well, can't argue with that logic.
Trump has ingested.
Probably at least a pencil box worth. So
Because evil's not gone. So maybe like that's why all the old people are the way they are. So
that is an
That's,
actual
yeah.
part of that theory. Is that the reason why old people are kind of abrasive a
the
lot
lead.
is because of all the lead that they gleefully drank from their milkshakes and malts as children.
Baby boomers, more like lead
Consumers.
consumers. Oh, Aaron Donovan.
That was beautiful.
You are a star.
Oh my goodness.
I only come on this show for validation. Today in comm ethics, we were talking about how everyone is violent and awful because of video games. And I was like, I don't really buy into that. But now you're saying lead, and it's like, all right, video games. That makes way more sense than lead.
What if there's lead in video games?
Stay tuned next week.
Oh my god.
And I'll be doing an investigative report in 1 week.
I think I hear the FBI coming.
Finally, someone's listening.
I wonder if there is like a group of NSA agents who gather around the radio every evening to listen to our wonderful show, and they're all like, can't tell us.
They don't, because they would have reported us to the FCC a couple of times.
Absolutely.
Moving
Unless they're
on,
cool.
though.
Unless they're cool.
Oh, yeah.
If I was an
True.
FBI agent and like, I remember if I heard what Kylie did, I'd be like, sisters, I'm not gonna do anything. And that's why when the FBI didn't interview with them.
Good call.
But Chase did make me do like the prep test. I had a 75%.
Ooh.
Hey, that's good.
Oh,
That's passing. C's get degrees, my friend.
in the FBI?
I assume in the FBI.
There's always gotta be that one. Okay, so today I didn't have a conspiracy theory prepared. But then, a couple hours before the show, a trusted source who asked me to not reveal who they are told me about some million conspiracy theories that are way better than the word I want to say on the radio but can't say on the radio, Vandal.
But I did say on the radio that one time by accident.
Oh. Are you talking about the legendary bandit of
The buffalo.
privates?
Yes. It's even better than that.
They who buffaloed the buffalo.
ASMR for those who tune in. So, I even have the 150 history book thing as a source that they gave me, but mostly I'm just going to repeat what they said. One of the, and some of them aren't conspiracy theories, some of them are just like odd things that like we can't really figure. This building, the building we're in now, Paxton Communication Center, used to be the Student Union building. And do you know who built the Student Union building?
Moses.
Close.
Moses' daddy.
Less close.
Oh, Moses' son.
Closer.
Yeah. All right, who is it?
Students. The reason, the conspiracy theory part of this is the crack in the foundation that's letting this slowly slide down the hill could be because literal students built this building. That was the only way they could get it.
Wow. So when they said student union, it was workers building the school.
They wanted
An
to
admirable pursuit.
and the source did use the reasoning that they were mostly veterans, so they had some capability to be doing this. But
You served in war. You know how to build a building. It's only natural.
the
Step
crack
one.
in the foundation has been repaired 4 times.
Ooh.
I learned today. And there's still a crack again, so they're gonna need to fix it.
You could say the same about my relationship, Abby.
At least it wasn't a joke about Corinne. Earlier I made a joke about divorce, and I literally stopped breathing.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
It wasn't funny.
Shame
it just
on
sounded
you.
sad.
You
Yeah.
better not divorce Gabby, the prison dog.
Oh, well.
It would be more likely that Gabby would divorce you.
Well,
true.
you know. She's in prison. Well, she was. You're back.
That means just like murder you for her to go back or something. So that is one of the theories, is like maybe this is gonna fall down the hill because they said if we will buy the resources if you build it.
Huh.
So they actually did. But
is interesting. I can honestly see something like that happening in the days of yore.
The Mac Lab used to be the grill.
Honestly, sometimes it probably is still the grill because those computers get pretty hot.
Another one I learned, it's mostly about buildings on campus, is that the president had a tunnel that went out the back of his office so that if there's someone out front and he wanted to avoid them, he could literally go out the secret tunnel and escape.
Wow.
And it's now in, if I say what office, if you want to know, talk to me.
I think I know. It is a very old building on campus, and I have heard this story, and I can confirm that it is actually true. It has been walled off since.
Yeah. But
that is true. There is, in fact, a secret tunnel with both ends walled off, so really there's just a secret pocket of air on campus.
Which, if anyone listening remembers President Bill Greer's sermon, the first one in chapel in 2016, which would be my first year here, Ooh. He thanked us for... I'm going to move the mic a little bit closer because I can see that I'm quiet.
Just be louder. To Brent Doolittle listening.
Brent Doolittle, I invited you to sit in on our show and you never texted me back.
Okay, that is not how shout-outs work.
You gotta talk louder if you're gonna shout out.
I did raise my voice for that. What was I gonna say? Off. President Greer thanked us because at school in California, the students had protested enough that the president felt he needed to make like a bunker for himself, and President Greer thanked us basically for not being babies about the political climate and that he didn't need to make one. But Bill Greer obviously forgot about the fact that a former Milligan president did feel like that.
Oh man. Or maybe he just had some people working for his staff that like didn't smell good, or maybe had bad teeth. So
it's all about those teeth.
He just wanted a quick exit before he had some of yesterday's lunch.
From the grill.
From the grill that the students built with their own hands.
The grill was never in the Mac Lab.
How do you know that?
Brent Doolittle texted me.
How does he know that?
Also, I mean, the grill's new.
He was there.
Well, the old version of the grill. Whatever.
They have an older version?
The campfire, as they called it.
This source said they did, and I trust them more than
say
it.
Oh no, conflict.
Another conspiracy theory is, another weird story that is kind of a little hard because I was in the Florida Faith play, is actually a replica of a mansion of a donor. The donor said, I will donate a building to you if it's an exact replica of my mansion. But this is one of the... Oh, I don't know what page it's on.
That person must have a very loose definition of mansion.
Like, either... Like, they did not have a mansion, or they had a very oversized house. Because that's just a small building.
But the weird part about this, besides the fact that someone thought that they should have a replica of their mansion on campus, is they had the creepiest version I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of Last Supper things. I used to be a Bible major.
Oh.
And I'm trying to find a picture. I will tweet it.
There's a picture of Bruce Montgomery. That's
yes.
not creepy. That's uplifting and wonderful. So maybe you should tweet that.
I'll also do that. We love Grandpa. I want Noah and Daniel to react to it on the air, so I should have done this ahead of time.
Yes, you should have.
I'll work up a good reaction whilst you search for it.
I'll talk.
What?
Oh, here it is. Look how creepy that is.
Is Judas already a ghost, or
no, who's who?
Somebody's translucent in this?
I don't know what's going
in this
on.
painting.
I think it's Jesus on the left.
I think that must be Judas.
It's Obi-Wan. He's a Force ghost.
But it's a really creepy, weird thing. And like the mansion of Big Heartland, it was Heartland Hall Plantation in Locustdale, Virginia, home of the Hart family, who donated funds to build Little Heartland Hall at Milligan. And if you look, it's not even a very close replica.
No, it's not.
Yeah, no. It kind of looks like they chopped off both ends and called it a day.
Fortunately, that donor was blind.
So I'm going to take pictures because I'm back on social media.
Oh, heck yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you. And I can tweet these. Oh, the lighting's bad. Another one, while I'm trying to figure out how to take this picture.
We'll help if we, tilt it.
Good. Is the... Thank you. The PR building used to be the home used to be a missionary home, so missionaries who were returning to the States for just a little bit would live there. But the basement is way bigger than the house, so if the house is 12 feet long, the basement would be even longer, and 10 by 12 would be much larger than that. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this without using my hands, because this is the radio.
It's a big basement.
It's much larger than it should be. And there's a weird dent in it where they, like, dug into the side of they dug further than they really needed to. Like, there's not a hill, there's just a weird indentation.
Just like my forehead.
And, what are they using it for? Why is it so big? What did they used to store it for?
That's interesting, actually. I feel like that's one of those, little myths that lets the imagination run wild, kind of like the secret tunnel. Like, what were they doing? Was that just someone misread a blueprint and they're like, wow, this is going to be a big house on top of this big old basement?
We don't know. One of my favorite conspiracy theories proposed, I'm saving it for last, is of Wonderful Wednesday.
Which is a day that they let all the students off.
For new listeners.
Out of class.
It's a surprise day where we get to have fun and eat free donuts and do things like that. But this source proposed, why did it start? Maybe sit-in? Or a protest? At when he was president,
I'm gonna buy you some bookmarks.
Perhaps it was a sit-in from irate laborers who built the student union building.
Where are all the presidents?
They had to lower the lead levels.
Yeah.
Here they are. So Jess Walter Johnson was our president from 1968 to 1991. Don't let the name fool you. We were not that progressive in 1968. It is a man. And so the question arose earlier today, why did it start? Was it to prevent that? Did he forget to write a chapel sermon? It was like, the end. No, we're not having it. We're not doing it. And also, we realized things and stuff on campus. During the Cold War, a lot of colleges' campuses had something for, like, in case a nuclear bomb went off. Milligan doesn't. What was their plan? Were they just going to pray through that? Or
put our faith in the Lord, and
like
probably...
I almost chopped your head off.
No big loss.
Like, what? Are we just going to celebrate that we're all dead from a nuclear bomb because we're going to go to heaven, or...
Now, I'm not going to get into theology here, but to just assume like that, if I was a screenwriter, I'd throw in some irony there.
You are a screenwriter.
That's true. Back when I was a young warthog, as they say in Disney films, I wrote a script or two, as did Noah.
Yeah.
Noah's were arguably better than mine. But,
I only have...
Well, his script, singular, was better than mine.
And mine are better than both of yours. Just kidding. I'm making a documentary for the film fest, so I have no script.
Hey.
Cheater.
Your script is life itself.
The script I wrote for, like, the feature-length film and screenwriting was a mockumentary, almost, about what America would be like if we legalized LSD. So, like, that wasn't even a possibility to shoot and show at Milligan. But I do think it was funny. Kenny Suit did too.
Well, that's fair.
And we have very different, we're very different people. It's 9:31. Normally that means we'd be starting our show. But that now means it's your turn.
Oh, boy.
Right after the short commercial break. What's your commercial? Or your ad. Go for it.
All right. Have you ever tried milk? Well, what about 1% milk?
1% milk. The other 99 is probably lead.
Nobody that's drank 1% milk has lived to tell the tale. Because nobody has drank it.
Stay tuned for next week when we all try 1% milk for the first time.
Fun fact, I actually get 1% milk because I grew up in a skim family.
I did too.
And Corinne premise.
Nah.
Now we're both unhappy.
Why not buy 2 gallons of milk?
That way you can have 4%.
No, well, or you could do almond milk because it's better for you.
Shameless plug. Almond milk is pretty tasty.
Does it cost more?
Yes.
Oh.
Not much. I don't think so.
Does the percent cost more?
That's a good question.
Aldi has almond milk, so basically, it's still cheap.
If you can buy it at Aldi, it's so good for you. It'll heal broken bones in like a day. So,
And it will be affordable.
yeah, and German, which is always good, I guess.
Amy should.
And I was feeling like just like straight up depressed. I was in a really bad mood, and I was like, you know what? I'm grocery shopping. I'm gonna splurge. I got orange juice. That's me splurging. Like, I was in a real bad mood. I sat in my car for like 20 minutes before I went to the grocery
It
store.
wasn't even apple juice.
I get apple
I
juice
wasn't feeling that
sometimes.
down.
One time we did go to your house to watch Shawshank Redemption, and Noah had like fruit punch, orange juice, apple juice, water,
When I first
milk.
became an adult, Noah was my inspiration because he always had fruit snacks on hand. And
Ooh,
I
I need
thought
to start that again.
that is the perfect way to live one's adult life. And so now I try to keep fruit snacks on hand.
I love fruit snacks.
I do too.
I also, what I want to have on hand more is string cheese, but it
I
always
agree.
like costs more than.
I never
I'm
really-
cheap.
I never really liked string cheese.
Yeah, I always had a weird association with it and the like fun string, the silly string stuff that you
Oh.
spray on people and it like gets caught in their hair.
And it's
And
bad
so-
to like breathe and stuff.
Yeah, and like, kills you. For some reason that kind of stuck with me. So anytime I try to eat string cheese, I would think like, oh, I'm spraying that into my face and I'm going to die a horrible death. So
See, I just don't like mozzarella cheese.
If you have,
Mozzarella.
they have make it in other kinds.
My mom only ever bought mozzarella. Sometimes like half mozzarella, half cheddar, and then I wouldn't even eat that because I would eat only half cheddar, and then I would get in trouble.
Oh, I was afraid to eat the half cheddar, half mozzarella because it's like, what if I just want one?
Well, then you
But
have time.
if you have string cheese and you just like take bites out of it without like peeling it, I think that makes you a.
tendencies, and I think that would be a psychopath tendency.
I think
that's
so.
fair.
Like people who bite into Kit Kats, but like they don't break them first, or Twix.
Yeah.
I just realized that all my lead consumption led me to
Oh, I do too.
led me to misinterpret what you were saying. I thought you were talking about spray cheese.
Oh.
That is why I associate string cheese, which you
I
were
was
talking about, is
confused.
wonderful. Spray cheese is an abomination in the eyes of God.
I've never had spray cheese. I grew up.
Well,
I don't
Very-
like it.
My mom's a dietitian and nutritionist, so that was not even a possibility.
well, please tell me that stuff is awful for you because that will validate my entire
Yeah,
childhood.
super bad.
It feels
I
wrong.
told all y'all trying to feed me spray cheese.
How many people tried to feed you
Every
spray
day.
cheese?
Like 2 or 3 people, but they were dead wrong and nearly got me killed. So joke's on you.
So that nobody can spray any cheese.
I'm not here to get that string cheese in my system. I
I
want to
still
live
want
a
to try the
clean
cheese
life.
dip from Chick-fil-A.
Cheese dip from Chick-fil-A?
Yeah. Have you heard about this?
No.
That's why I was like, oh, Daniel works there. It wasn't in all locations, but it was like a big deal. Hold on. I will find.
Wow.
Alternatively,
Well, no wonder
it's my segment now.
Well, you let us get off topic, and now.
All right, we are in the wild west in
Hold on.
the year, whatever year that was.
Chick-fil-A reports that it began. This is from Delish.com.
Dear Heavenly Truett, that's an actual thing.
Heavenly Truett. That began rolling out the cheese flavored dip at 4 wide. The sauce is made with a mix of Swiss and Parmesan cheeses and was first offered on the menu at participating locations in 2012. That is 7 years ago.
Wow. Excuse me.
And everyone has loved it.
Wow. I never once encountered cheese dip of any kind. Filet.
But it's $1.19.
Ooh.
But people are saying it's worth it. And in
See-
California, they also serve guac at Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
Those eyes are so big. I saw every white part of it.
There's
I mean-
a lot of that.
I work in retail and I still learn things about my job all the time. Didn't know before. Like the other day, I was told that the money that the customers hand us is actually, there's like a register for us to put it into. So
Wait, you don't put it in the money pocket?
I was putting it in the money pocket, but
I thought that's why we had that pocket on our uniforms. That might explain
That-
why I always get pulled over.
I am the radio station manager. I don't even get a money pocket.
Oh, that stinks.
Well, you don't interact with customers.
My customers are the radio shows, I guess.
My customers are
Hey, if
the
anyone's
ears and
listening,
hearts.
tomorrow.
No, this is my set.
Tomorrow 6 to 8 at sub 7. That was confusing because there was the 7 while I was saying 6 to 8. We're having a media party for anyone who's been involved with Radio or Stampede, or anyone that wants to be involved with the Radio Stampede, or anyone that wants free dessert, and will make me look like I recruited a lot of people.
Wow. So you.
I have to make it look like I did a good job.
We did it. All right, Wild West.
We're in the
Let's rock
Wild
and roll.
West. Daniel is the biggest, baddest outlaw out there. He's killed 2 people.
Every morning I eat my lead Wheaties, and at night I drink my kale and lead shakes. And I just feel ornery and violent every time I do.
And
Ornery, that's a risky word to say on the radio.
he...
Is it really?
Yeah, it sounds like other things. Anyways. But, that is more for private conversations, so let's move on. And
Daniel has left the room.
Bye, guys.
He's doing a flap.
Heading to
He-
the Wild West.
reputation for himself as a horrifying outlaw. Yes, that's it. Daniel just typed into his phone to let us know what word he thought we were saying, and it was
Something only an outlaw can say.
horsey.
Ooh.
But anyways, this outlaw, what's this outlaw's name?
This outlaw is named Tumbleweed Steve.
Does this outlaw always speak in third person?
This outlaw
Oh no.
is Pond. We'll get back with you later.
Tumbleweed Steve built a reputation by using 3 tricks to subdue his opponents. They might be weapons or skills. What might they be?
Well, you see, the legend slightly too hairy Tumbleweed Steve is known for his long, apprehensile ponytail that he sometimes hides as a man bun.
Gross.
He uses that to subdue his foes. He also is known for being really good at cards, but not playing cards, but business cards. And he's always quick to hand one to a potential client for robbing. It's like his calling card, but he forgot to put his phone number on it. And he also forgot to put the .com at the end of his gmail.com web address, which is something that hits home for the current narrator. Anyways, and his third is that he has an uncanny sense of smell, and he can smell anything from miles away except for his own hair, because he's kind of grown immune to that one.
How wonderful.
The card's out of focus.
Does he have a particular weapon of choice?
His weapon of choice is a record player that is cursed by an ancient Mayan curse. And anyone who listens to it do anything... Well, let me take that back. They can only do things at half their normal speed for the next 5 minutes.
Ooh.
You should use your ponytail as a
Pretty
weapon
powerful.
too, as a whip.
Yeah, well, that would be too derivative of that one Smith child's 2000s. What was her name? Jayla?
Oh, Whip My Hair by, you said, her name, it'll come to me in a second.
Jaleel
Willow.
White is who you're
Willow
talking
Smith.
about.
Willow Smith.
The wife's name is Jada Pinkett.
That's
Smith.
right. I need to brush up on my Smith family trivia. Steve needs to brush up on his Smith family trivia.
So, Tumbleweed Steve, he knows he's bad. He knows everyone thinks he's bad, and he knows that he's actually kind of rad too, but he doesn't let it get to his head. Anyways, there are other outlaws there. Decided there's only room in this town, or a set of towns, for events in which he might be traveling, and the city limits are not completely clear, that there's only room in this town or set of towns for one man, and that is Tumbleweed Steve alone. And we do mean alone because his Tinder has not been invented yet, and he is lonely. Oh, so
lonely. Does he not have like a mangy dog to like accompany him?
Yes, but it.
Oh, where'd you go, dear doggo? I've missed you for 30 days and 30 nights.
So Aaron Donovan and I will be coming up. That is my full name. Yep, Aaron Donovan and I will be coming up. Why do you do this?
Good and eye coordination.
Here's the thing. I think you have like a really good sounding name.
Thank you.
Rolls off the tongue. You should be happy.
I am.
Imagine being named after something lame.
Yeah, keep your name.
Like a flightless bird.
A beautiful flightless bird.
A beautiful flightless bird. That's true.
There's 21 Pilots called Isle Flightless Bird from their self-titled album.
Huh.
You know this song?
I did not know of this song.
Daniel and I don't actually care for 21 Pilots, so...
Yeah, I'm more of a bus driver kind of guy myself, but...
So, first thing on the list is... I should have thought of some beforehand.
Nope.
The first person he's fighting?
Faster the Pastor. So, Faster the Pastor is a part-time preacher. Dang it.
Priester.
Well, yes, he's the Easter Priester. That's his other name.
You said Priester again.
That was the point that time.
I know you.
It rhymes. Is a part-time preacher, but he's unfortunately he has a small church, and they are not getting enough donations to renovate into a bigger building. So when the time comes and they need space, Faster the Pastor knows how to get rid of people. He sends them to other towns.
Tumbleweed Steve senses something very bad. He smells it.
Something is certainly fishy.
You smell the communion bread?
Yes.
You should replace that communion bread, preacher.
And
I think it's been there a few weeks.
And they use wine, real wine, so you know he's a little drunk. But he's named Faster the Pastor because he is the fastest shot in this district.
I was like, don't take that away from Annie Oakley.
Yeah, she lives elsewhere.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thanks to gerrymandering, she lives in another district.
How are you going to take out... Dang it. How are you going to take out this guy?
Well, Tumbleweed. What's a preacher without his preachees? So he takes his magical, cursed record player, and he sets it down, and he plugs it into a electrical outlet nearby. Don't ask. And he begins to soothing but hypnotizing tunes of an acoustic cover of My Lighthouse.
That brings back war flashbacks.
And as it plays, the preacher is powerless to stop with his slowed down speed.
Because he was pretty fast.
Well, yeah. It's slow to him. It's all about perspective.
Perception is reality.
And his congregation congregates around me instead. And they congregate around Tumbleweed Steve. Him instead. And so now Tumbleweed Steve has enough money to redraw the districts the way they should be, based off of a fair census that does not include questions that were outlawed 40 years ago for very good reasons.
Success.
Alright, well, cross that guy off the list. Who might be next?
I've been trying to think of a rhyme the whole time. I've not been able to think of one. Cheap Leap.
That sounds like a terrible grocery store.
The word leap in my head. And couldn't get it out. So Cheap Leap runs the local grocery store and doesn't let anyone put anything on credit, even though the Depression is going on.
Oh. We're 20s gangsters. We were exposed to lead.
And children are dying. Mothers are starving. The fathers are okay because they have male privilege.
In that order.
And Tumbleweed Steve goes to the store to put something on credit for his nieces and nephew, but they don't let him.
Tumbleweed Steve's a family man.
What does Tumbleweed Steve do?
At his heart, he is indeed a family man, but he's of his niece or nephew, so they are, in fact, niece Steve and nephew Steve. Steve was the last name. To deal with this here creditor malefactor that is that sounds terrible. That sounds like some kind of epithet. But so to deal with old Cheap Leap here, young Tumbleweed Steve at his tender young age he sniffs out a group of irate customers that have been turned down for credit, and he goes to them and he says, if you are willing to run in and steal everything from this store whilst I distract the store owner, you can keep what you steal, except give me a little bit, because my niece. Do the townsfolk agree? I guess you guys are like the moderators. So
everyone but one mom who's like, I'm gonna talk to the manager.
Okay then, Stacy, just give away the plan, why don't you? So Tumbleweed Steve approaches Cheap Leap, and with a lightning flash whip of his head and a slight crack of his crunchy bones, his ponytail wraps around Cheap Leap and keeps him from leaping away. And for good measure, to make sure he can't get away quickly, he plugs in his record player and puts on the soothing tunes of a heavy metal cover of Benny and the Jets. So, while he's doing that, a group of irate people, pitchforks and sporks in hand.
Good band name.
They clean the shelves out and basically set the business ledger of Cheap Leap back about 2 months. Does that work?
Cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Alright, next up is the one, the only, Sharp Shovel Sean.
Oh, we're doing alliterations. That's easier.
Yeah. I got you.
I'm just following your lead.
Sharp Shovel Sean is a serial killer. And,
But we just stole all the cereal.
well, you're in for some bad news. This serial killer has killed 5 people in a town of 13.
That's 30 more people than Tumbleweed Steve. I'm gonna have to do better.
And he does it by getting out his sharp to a very, very fine point shovel.
Is it even a shovel at that point?
Well, does it have a point or a fine edge?
It is.
That's a pretty bad shovel.
Well, the shovel, you see, it is the edge of the handle that has actually been sharpened.
Oh.
It's like a
deadly and functional.
Yes.
But what if you want to lean on it while you're digging something and you just
That was actually 3 of his deaths. Complete accident. But Sharp Shovel Sean, he gets out his pointy shovel and then he goes up to his victims, the 2 that he didn't kill accidentally. He points his shovel at them, drops his shovel, strangles them to death, and then uses his shovel, which has directions to the nearest graveyard where holes have already been by the funeral director, because
oh, so he's in on it too. Tumbleweed Steve says angrily. Secretly,
Sharp Shovel Sean is not completely aware of the functional utility of a shovel or instrument of death.
Just like Macbeth never understood macaroni and cheese.
Yes.
A tragic tale of irony in their name.
I'm a Stouffer's guy.
Oh, I was just making a joke about having Mac in his name.
Oh.
It was good.
I used to not like mac and cheese, and I only liked Stouffer with me as a child, but that's not the point.
Let's talk
But,
about
what are
the
you gonna
real
do about this
travesty
guy?
here. 3 deaths, like it 3 deaths, like it was an accident. You didn't like mac and cheese?
I don't know what it was. I just really didn't like it.
Was it someone told you that they're called elbows and you jaded with cannibalism after that?
That would probably make more sense, but I just didn't. I only liked Stouffer's mac and cheese, and if it didn't like Stouffer's, if it didn't taste like Stouffer's, I didn't like it.
That's fair. You gotta know your stove.
He's so proud. Steve is so proud
He
of
flashed
himself right now.
the widest, most genuine smile I've ever seen anyone give.
That was
Tumbleweed
pure.
Steve's having a good time even if no one else is.
This is why Tumbleweed Steve is alone at 52.
Oh, what about my dog? Oh, it might have been those bones I combed out last year.
That's the hardest Noah's laughed in a very long time.
Oh, I just haven't laughed.
Well, I know how
I
you
work in
Methodists
retail.
are about laughing.
I'm about to be a waitress again. Also, I might
Ooh.
work at Mimi's. Steve.
Sharp, shoveled, sand.
Steve might actually just be the guy that Daniel is. So, how about Sean he deals with?
Well, Tumbleweed Steve's
Oh,
plan
okay.
to deal with Steve is to finally capitalize on that gym membership and really start journaling more so we can understand his inner thoughts and really turn the outer eye inward. As for Sharp Shovel Sean, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shovely Sean. To deal with someone who doesn't understand how a shovel works is to just educate them. But first, not to be beaten out, Tumbleweed Steve murders 3 innocent people as they pass by him in the candy store by daring them to eat a jawbreaker while they choke. Not that it's competition, but Tumbleweed Steve is winning now. So he goes.
Wait, I thought it would be a tie.
Oh,
I mean,
he shoots the store owner on his way out.
if you kill Sharp Shovel Sean, you get his kills.
What's a game that has that?
That's exactly the question I had in my head, but
Some type of cards, I'm sure. Anyways, so Tumbleweed Steve makes his way to the graveyard as Sharp Shovel Sean? I keep forgetting his name. Sean?
alliteration S with also Tumbleweed Steve, I think.
I know, Steve, Sean. This is really
Steve.
this is really a showdown of S names. But a Sean down. So Tumbleweed Steve approaches him and he says, I don't know you because the story hasn't made it clear. But I realize you have quite the kill count. But you don't know how to use that there shovel. And so as a friendly fellow competitor who wants to abide by the antitrust laws that protect the people of this proud nation district, I want to offer you this. And he pulls out a business card sized pamphlet that unfolds miraculously into 3 or 4 pages that details the use of a shovel. The only problem is it's all wrong, and it basically amounts to telling the user to stick the shovelly part of the shovel into the ground and then jump on to the other end.
How convenient.
Wow. Perfect.
I'll take it.
Alright, wonderful. Now that it's competition, Tumbleweed Steve is the Tumbleweed victor.
Up next rolls Asking Alexandria, who is loud all of the time, unnecessarily so, and really sad. What do you do?
Well, if you can... Crying is like bleeding. If you can slow it down, eventually it'll stop. So Tumbleweed Steve turns on his...
In Asking Alexandria lyrics.
Tumbleweed Steve plugs in his cursed record player, searches through a happy uplifting song, and plays a reggae version of Every Breath You Take.
Convenient.
And then he sits there and journals his own feelings out loud.
Asking Alexandria.
Asking Alexandria continues to cry just in half speed.
Is it... How do you make the crying stop all the way?
Ooh. I don't want
Forever.
Daniels here, but He unfurls his man bun and allows his flowing ponytail to, do its thing. And he gently wipes away the tears. And the combination of softness that comes with having unwashed, greasy hair for many, many months, yet firmness of having unwashed, greasy hair for many months, is like a half-used paintbrush that brushes away the tears and only leaves a slight discomfort under her left eye.
All right.
This turned into a romance, a Western romance. Wow.
That's beautiful. He did find love. Maybe.
Well,
love in a not so great way, but
yeah, Tumbleweed Steve. Questionable way of comforting somebody.
Next up, an outlaw often considered to only be just part of legend, local legend, and folklore. Nobody knows his true name, but he's a musician that, through whispers of the wind, has only been known as the pianist, known for... Don't laugh, Daniel. This doesn't have
How tall
to be.
is this pianist?
Yeah.
And anyways, whose phone is that?
Me. I'm calling my dad.
Way to spoil it. Tumbleweed
Tumbleweed
Steve knows who it is.
I legitimately have no idea how I did that. My phone was locked.
Anyways, people, why are you still laughing? Often in the middle of the night, the villagers of this town hear a ragtime. Why are you laughing? Hear a ragtime melody. Just screams of horror, and another person has vanished from the town.
Oh no, must be the pianist's doing.
Yes, so that's not really how you pronounce that word. It's pianist. Let's get it right.
Pianist.
Pianist. That's what I always heard.
I am a pianist. You're correct.
Oh. Well, where Tumbleweed Steve's narrator is from in the South, we say terribly mixed up English words like pianist or pecans.
Anyways,
Or
the pianist, known for his skills with... You say, Aaron?
Roof. Okay, I thought...
I remember the first time I heard that. Dr. Boomer said it in class, and I actually didn't know what he meant.
That is not a Georgia thing. I have heard a lot more Midwestern people say roof.
Really?
Yeah, and I genuinely, like you, didn't know what was going on. I was...
Ooh, I'm glad we can relate on that.
Yeah.
Anyways, this guy's been taking out people left and right.
Can you relate on that?
I can't play piano.
No, the roof.
Yeah, it is annoying.
When they say
But I
it,
knew
that
people
sounded
were
like
saying
the
roof.
The roof. The roof is on fire.
And when people are like, raise the roof, I'm like, man, I wish that dog would shut up. Don't make him louder.
Don't encourage him to raise his voice.
Anyways, the pianist, known for his skills with the organ, has been taking out people, don't laugh, left and right, and you have to stop this murderer before he murders more than you.
Me? You mean Tumbleweed Steve?
Yes.
Hard to see the pianist is. So Tumbleweed Steve takes up his arms because they both fell off. He's got a bad case of leprosy. Loose arm disease.
Tumbleweed Steve is a Lego man.
The Lego man. He used to be a Lego and Armo man, but that was a terrible joke. Moving on, Tumbleweed Steve must first discover who this pianist is, so he makes himself an ideal target by working hard to secure a spot in the middle tax bracket and begins to foolishly respond to spam emails. Now that his information is on the dark web, Tumbleweed Steve is confident that he will be attacked one night. So every night, before he goes to sleep, he begins to play a jazz cover of Rush's 2112 album. That's the only record that'll last through his entire sleep cycle of 25 minutes. And then one night when he hears a bump in the kitchen, And then his whole house, it's 2 feet away from him. Tumbleweed Steve jumps up, knowing that the intruder is slowed down by his cursed record player. And he takes a business card, and printed on the business card is an advertisement for a company that manufactures really sharp business into the dark, hoping that his strong sense of smell has guided his aim with this sharp business card to hit, hopefully, the pianist that is attacking his house.
What if he misses?
Well,
It didn't miss. It just made a little paper on his arm.
his plan all along.
Now he's bleeding, but very slowly, and not for too long.
True. Although, if he does have to sit through all of 2112, he might actually die of starvation. But,
What?
is to rationalize with himself that all outlaws have their limits. And he phones the police on the nearby rotary phone. Excuse me, telegrams the police on the nearby rotary telegram.
Police!
Yeah. He phones the police, yelling. So,
But it takes some time. You know, telegrams, they're not the fastest form of communication. Well, unfortunately right now they are, but you see out in the distance the pianist extends his weapon of choice, and it's like a gun, but with like he like drew on it, so it kind of looks like it has piano keys on it. It's pretty cool looking.
Oh.
It's a little artsy, but
I remember that camo in Call of Duty. Well,
it turns out the gun form of destruction is the classic dropping a piano on people from the sky.
oh no. What happens if I'm in the house?
Do you have insurance?
I'm an outlaw.
Then you'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
The police will get him.
Oh, okay, sweet. Okay, well, Tumbleweed Steve looks at the newfound hole in his roof, his newfound but gently used piano that's also in that corner, and he begins taking pictures, which is smart when you have an insurance claim that you're about to file.
Very good.
And he puts his trust in the police, who are probably looking for Tumbleweed Steve being an outlaw and such. But, he'll talk in a slightly higher voice when the police get here so that they won't think that it's Tumbleweed Steve.
He's not like a Toy Story character.
Thank you.
Unfortunate.
Honestly, that one teddy bear, Toy Story.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But unfortunately, the police show up, but as you look in the distance, you don't see a cop. The man you're looking at is none other than Sting and his wonderful band of the police.
Oh, no, they're here to get me for the playing Every Breath You Take without copyright.
That's right.
Common law was important.
I knew this would come back to bite Tumbleweed Steve in the derriere.
He's lactose intolerant.
There's no worse air to have.
For string cheese air. Spray cheese air. Spray cheese air. Don't kick me out.
But it turns out Sting and the police are actually like secret cops performing a sting.
Who would have known that?
And they do their best to put the pianist back in the hole, aka solitary confinement. Don't laugh. We don't have to laugh. And next up,
when people laugh at you.
I know. It's just Daniel's face when he laughs is too.
I imagine
too pure.
The pianist is probably going to go nuts in solitary confinement.
That's
It's
disgusting.
me playing himself.
You all are gross. Anyways, this is why we do our show later now.
I didn't mean that to be gross, but like he was a bad guy, so when he got caught, so he played himself. But also he's a pianist and he plays.
I can't even tell what we're saying anymore.
Ooh, so the final person Tumbleweed Steve has to go up against.
Wait. Can you read this?
Oh yeah, I can't believe I didn't do this. I got too caught up. This is Milligan College Radio 9.5 FM WMC Elizabeth Dunn City. Online at milliganradio.com. You can call us at 423-461-8464. But if you do want to call us, please call us on personal cell phones because our phone doesn't work that well. I've been practicing that.
That was the fastest delivery in the West. Tumbleweed Steve is impressed.
Thank you.
That rhymed. Keep going.
The final person Tumbleweed Steve has to face is himself. he looks in the mirror and realizes, I've killed people. I changed my name from Joe to Tumbleweed. I haven't washed my hair for no particular reason in months, other than it builds my character. I dropped out of college a semester before I was going to graduate, just to disappoint my parents.
And it was Harvard.
And I have left my just to see how long she would wait for me.
Oh no. The classic, I'm heading to Walmart. See you in 5 years trick. Well, Tumbleweed Steve is ashamed. He's done some awful things. He doesn't feel sorry about the tax evasion, but everything else, truly awful.
I didn't even mention tax evasion.
I mean, Tumbleweed Steve feels not bad about one of the murders. Don't look at his books. He keeps good ledgers. Unlike Leapin' Lenny. Cheap Leap. I forgot when we switched from rhyming to alliteration. So, Tumbleweed Steve knows what he must do. He grabs a pair of clippers from Cheap Leap's store, and he takes a clip to his matted, greasy, ever so slightly alive on its own accord, thanks to some mold that may have been growing in there, hair off, and as it falls to the floor with an audible thump like someone threw a boa constrictor through the window, he feels free. Then he realizes that he nicked his scalp and probably needs to check himself into the hospital because head wounds bleed a lot. And as he leaves, takes one last look at his outlaw life, at all the death and destruction that he's caused, and he decides that a sad song would be fitting. So he takes his record player and he finds a classic sad song by R.E.M. and he proceeds to play the piano concerto version of that. And as he walks out, he looks at the shining sun above him and he thinks, I think I'm going to pass out from blood loss. And he died Steve before he passed out face down in a pile of horse manure. Such is life in the Old West, and such is death.
And the mafia sends his remains to prison, where it is received by the pianist. And it is only this final package, the end of this story, and anything we need to talk about for next week.
Bye!